Chapter 14-16, Ji Qime's Meritorious Contribution. Tang Xiu turned his head to gaze at the title Empress and sighed with a click of his tongue. 16 Fallen Immortals. I never thought your ghost sect had such cards hidden. Unable to become supremes and faced with the impending roadblock, some immortals choose to become fallen immortals and enter a deep state of sleep and exert themselves for the sect, after being awakened by the sect during a huge crisis. They're stronger than perfected golden immortals to some degree but equally weaker than supremes. This is really interesting. Your ghost sect indeed lives up to its vicious nature. You are even squeezing this last bit of strength out of your ancestors. The title Empress sneered. We aren't vicious at all. We're members of the sect when we're alive, and ghosts of the sect when we're dead. What's wrong with sacrificing this tiny bit of life for the sect's development? Tang Xiu lauded her and exclaimed, it will be impossible to eliminate us thoroughly with just these 16 fallen immortals, so why not reveal your trump card? Or else you will be just making a fool of yourself. Is that so? The figures of two people shot over from the distance with lightning-quick movements and arrived before the title Empress instantly. These two people were dressed in black robes and had all their features hidden under them. They also wore masks to cover their faces, and the aura shrouding them revealed them to be powerhouses in the supremacy stage. Tang Xiu's expression changed slightly, and he said deeply, I didn't expect the ghost sect to still have so many surviving members. You actually still had 2 supremes hidden, and have a total of 3 supremes together with the title Empress. With such a lineup, it's indeed possible to make us stay behind. The title Empress sneered. Do you really believe we only have this much strength left? Along with her words, a tsunami rose up at a distance of 500 kilometers away in the boundless sea and formed a multi-layered curtain of weakening water that covered this entire space, with archaic golden runes appearing and disappearing alternatively within the water. Golden Empyrean Bell? Tang Xiu's pupils contracted, and his eyes filled with disbelief. He had seen the Golden Empyrean Bell once just before he had become an immortal, and this bell was within the hands of a supreme of the immortal world, who definitely wasn't an opponent of the ghost sect back then. Furthermore, that supreme had disappeared 6,000 years ago, and no immortal had seen him ever again. From the current situation, it seemed like he had perished under the hands of the ghost sect. The Golden Empyrean Bell was a treasure that was ranked 9th among the 10 great divine artifacts of the immortal world, and any sect that obtained it gained the ability to reinforce the sect's protection array by a large margin. The surviving members of the ghost sect had actually used the Golden Empyrean Bell to lay down an array here, so there was no doubt that it possessed a truly fearsome strength. Tang Xiu took a deep breath and asked in a deep voice, tell me, where is Shade Demon Zhu Wushou? The title Empress broke into loud laughter. My senior brother isn't in this maelstrom space. He's actually in a safe region in the outside world. Unfortunately, you will never have the chance to see him ever again. Once we get rid of you, all of our ghost sect's members will infiltrate your great Tang Empire and win the trust of all the upper echelon members, before making it destruct thoroughly from within. You have a lot of friends and relatives, Great Tang Heavenly Emperor. I hope they can live a bit longer. Tang Xiu's eyes brimmed with murderous intent as he summoned the other 7 supremes from his heavenly abode, and then tried to send a voice transmission to the golden-eyed Great Peng and Nether Seawhale King, but he failed in the end. He even sent a communication signet outside, but they were all ineffective as the array formed by the Golden Empyrean Bell obstructed it. The title Empress chuckled and said, Great Tang Heavenly Emperor, are you feeling despair right now? Did you fail to contact the 2 people you left outside? Indeed, if they attacked the clouds from outside, they may have broken the maelstrom space and rendered our array ineffective, but unfortunately, you are unable to contact them, so only death awaits you here, and then, we shall kill those 2 as well. Tang Xiu narrowed his eyes. He had once sealed a special immortal soul force within the bodies of the golden-eyed Great Peng and the Nether Seawhale King, so he tried to contact them through his immortal soul force and successfully sent his intended message to their immortal souls shortly. Kill them. Tang Xiu revealed a somewhat nefarious grin and dashed towards the title Empress and the two supreme powerhouses of the Ghost Sect. Attack! The title Empress and the two Supremes were all vicious characters. They charged towards Tang Xiu and the others along with the 16 fallen immortals controlling the array. A battle between powerhouses was always cruel and dreadful. After 2 burning incense sticks worth of time had passed, the maelstrom space began to tremble suddenly, and this made Tang Xiu and the others, who were in an inferior position in the battle originally, reveal expressions of glee. Boom! A terrible explosion began propagating from the distant array and, at the same time, the 16 fallen immortals suffered a backlash as well. They spewed blood and fell back in succession. Without the array or the 16 fallen immortals to block them, Tang Xiu and the 8 Supremes rushed out of the crumbling clouds in tandem and appeared outside them within just a few short breaths, and met up with the golden-eyed Great Pang and the Nether Sea Whale King. The 11 of them then looked at the 19 enemies that had rushed out from within the clouds. Great Tang Heavenly Emperor, just how did you do this? The title Empress roared in fury with a look of indignation on her face. Tang Xiu smirked. How could you all comprehend my methods? Since we're outside the trap you made for us, let's have a fair battle now. I shall let you experience my methods. In the next instant, Tang Xiu employed his divine power, the Rainbow Phantasmagoria realm, and caused the 19 enemies to become absent-minded for a moment. Tang Xiu and the 10 Supremes used this gap to charge at them. Spurt! 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 The fallen immortals either perished or got wounded badly, and even the title Empress lost one of her arms and got severely wounded by 2 Supremes. Kill them! After the Rainbow Phantasmagoria realm lost its effectiveness, everyone unfolded a crazy volley of their strongest attacks. All of their strengths had made enormous progress after refining a large amount of god blood, so it just took half a day for them to eliminate the 2 Black-robed Supremes and the 16 fallen immortals. Title Empress. Tell me where Shade Demon Zhu Wushou is, or else, you shall perish eternally here today. Tang Xiu's voice thundered. The title Empress was riddled with injuries right now and they were so severe that she could barely put up a fight. A decisive look flashed through her eyes when she heard Tang Xiu's words and it made her scream sorrowfully, Great Tang Heavenly Emperor, my senior brother is an unparalleled genius, so even though his immortal soul alone remains, he will obtain the item he needs very quickly and cultivate back to the supremacy stage again. And the day he achieves that is the day your great Tang Empire will meet its doom, and also the moment you will perish eternally. You can do nothing but wait for it to happen. Boom. Saying so, she detonated her immortal soul. Tang Xiu and the 10 supreme powerhouses retreated in succession and were able to withstand the blast with much difficulty, each receiving considerable injuries. Look for him. You must find Shade Demon Zhu Wushou even if we have to scour the entire endless sea once again. If we leave him alive, it would be akin to inviting a calamity upon us in the future, so we must eliminate him at all costs, Tang Xiu yelled. Understood. All of them acknowledged. After a half-burning incense stick worth of time, all of them revealed astonished expressions as they sensed the signs of a battle occurring at a space a few 10,000 meters away from them. Let's go. Tang Xiu showed no hesitation and dashed over towards that location. Shade Demon Zhu Wushou? An. Ji Qimei? Tang Xiu's pupils contracted when he ascertained the identities of the people battling and revealed an excited expression immediately. After he had brought the great Tang Empire's army from Earth to the immortal world, he had tasked a group with collecting information about Ji Qimei, but it was a fruitless endeavor as they couldn't find anything at all. However, he never expected to run into her at such a moment, and she was even battling Shade Demon Zhu Wushou and 4 other perfected golden immortals with her group. Kill Shade Demon Zhu Wushou and his men. Tang Xiu yelled as he sprinted towards Ji Qimei immediately and helped her block the attack of a perfected golden immortal. Your Majesty. Ji Qimei revealed an emotional expression when she saw Tang Xiu appear. She and her clansmen were on the brink of losing, but she never expected Tang Xiu would appear at this moment along with so many supreme powerhouses in tow. Tang Xiu didn't participate in the battle and instead tapped Ji Qimei's shoulder. After that, he shot a drop of god blood into her mouth and said deeply, "Refine this drop of god blood first. We can talk once we have eliminated all of them." Understood. Ji Qimei retreated a few thousand meters away, then sat cross-legged on a landmass and began cultivating. A faint smile rose up on Tang Xiu's handsome face as he observed Shade Demon Zhu Wushou, whose expression changed greatly all of a sudden. He smirked at him and said, "Don't even think of escaping. You won't be able to escape from the hands of us 11 Supremes. Zhu Wushou, you're dead today." An infuriated look appeared on Shade Demon Zhu Wushou's face as he glared at Tang Xiu fiercely and yelled, "This can't be happening. My junior sister, Title Empress, brought you inside the Maelstrom space along with the powerhouses of my ghost sect. They laid down a grand array there, so how did you escape from it? Where are my junior sister and my elders?" Tang Xiu sneered. "Did you believe that just the Title Empress, 2 Supremes, and 16 fallen immortals could kill us? That's just a terrible joke, Zhu Wushou. You have expended all your hidden cards by now, so the only path left for you is death. Therefore, you might as well detonate your immortal soul. How about it?" Shade Demon Zhu Wushou took a deep breath and a bitter smile appeared on his face as he gazed at Tang Xiu and asked, "Star Cultivation Great Emperor, is there a way for you to leave me with my life? How about I exchange it with all the wealth I possess?" Tang Xiu summoned his divine sword and smirked. "The wealth you possess is worthless in my eyes. Moreover, I will naturally obtain your wealth once I kill you. Zhu Wushou, you're the person I hate the most in the immortal world, so you shall die today." A resplendent light broke out from the divine sword as a series of sword images sliced through Shade Demon Zhu Wushou's immortal soul. Just a single hit from one of them shattered Shade Demon Zhu Wushou's immortal soul into pieces, and even the 4 perfected golden immortals 10,000 meters away from the point of illumination perished at the same time. When the immortal souls of the 4 perfected golden immortals tried to flee, Siwei Monarch and Nether Seawell King beside Tang Xiu acted immediately and destroyed the 4 immortal souls at once. This was too easy. Siwei Monarch revealed a radiant smile. He originally believed that it would take them a long time to find Shade Demon Zhu Wushou's tracks before they could kill him. However, they didn't even have to use some of the plans formulated by his master, the great Tang Heavenly Emperor, and had settled the matter with just a single drop of god blood. Tang Xiu withdrew his divine sword and looked at the place where Shade Demon Zhu Wushou perished and felt empty all of a sudden. He had always seen Zhu Wushou as a target of vengeance, but now that he had killed this enemy of his, he felt a little lost now. A long while later, Ji Qimei awakened from her state of cultivation and flew before Tang Xiu to greet him respectfully. "Ji Qimei greets your majesty." "We greet your majesty." Ji Qimei's severely injured clansmen fell on their knees in the void one after the other. Tang Xiu requested them to stand up and said with a smile, "There's no need for such formalities. Ji Qimei, you returned to the immortal world earlier than us. Over 1,000 years have passed since then, so where were you all this time?" Ji Qimei smiled bitterly. "As soon as I arrived in the immortal world, I looked for my clansmen to assist them, but I ran into Shade Demon Zhu Wushou's men and got severely injured by them. I was brought over here and got tormented by them day and night for 1,000 years after that. However, we seized the opportunity to escape from the Maelstrom space when Shade Demon Zhu Wushou returned recently, and we're in a constant battle with him ever since. Although we lost a lot of members, we were able to persist until now." Tang Xiu finally understood what happened to her and said with a smile, "You cannot go unrewarded for helping us eliminate Shade Demon Zhu Wushou once and for all. Frankly, it would have been pretty difficult for us to find his hideout if it weren't for the battle between you." Ji Qimei forced a smile and said, "It's all your achievement, your majesty. I feel too ashamed." Tang Xiu waved his hand while smiling and said, let's return. Our great Tang Empire has already become the strongest force of the entire immortal world by now. You shall become a venerated immortal of the empire once we return, and all your clansmen can live in the empire too. Understood. Ji Qimei felt excited when she recalled her master, Gu Yan, and wished to reunite with her soon. Tang Xiu didn't say much and just smiled at her before all of them left the place quickly. Your Majesty. I know a place in the Endless Sea that has divine rocks, but no one has been able to obtain it till now since they failed to reach that place, Seaway Monarch muttered suddenly. Tang Xiu asked in astonishment, there's a divine rock in the immortal world? Are you sure about this? Seaway Monarch shook his head and said, I'm absolutely certain about it because I have seen the divine rocks personally once. I could neither enter that place nor had a way to obtain the divine rocks from inside since I was just a weak perfected golden immortal back then. However, we have a lot of people this time, and all of us are supremes, so we should have some chance of obtaining a few divine rocks from there. Where is it? Tang Xiu found it hard to resist the temptation as the divine force inside the divine rocks was a lot stronger than the immortal spiritual force. It was especially beneficial to the supreme powerhouses as their bodies would gain a divine aura if they were to absorb it. And if they cultivated diligently under such a state, their chances of crossing the divine tribulation in the future would increase by a few degrees. Seaway Monarch said, please follow me. A few months later, all of them arrived at a chaotic belt of meteorites. However, Tang Xiu never expected to actually discover a vertical portal inside such a location. Those are divine rocks? Tang Xiu could clearly see some golden ores floating on the other side of the portal. He had studied the records of divine rocks before, and the golden ores inside the portal looked the exact same as the rocks mentioned in those records. Seaway Monarch said solemnly, Your Majesty, that golden ore inside the portal should be made of divine rocks. However, this portal is pretty weird. I used a tremendous amount of gravitational force back then, but I could neither enter inside nor pull the divine rocks outside. Tang Xiu pondered for a moment and asked, a lot of powerhouses probably know about the existence of these divine rocks here, but it seems like none of them have been able to obtain them. Why is this? Did none of the Supremes ever try to obtain them? I'm also clueless about this. Seaway Monarch shook his head with a wry smile on his face. Tang Xiu took a deep break and employed his divine power, Heavenly Net, and the world before his eyes turned into a multicolored world of countless bright lines following their designated loci. Tang Xiu focused his gaze upon a series of golden lines within this multicolored world. Divine force? The immortal world actually has divine force? Just what's going on here? Tang Xiu had crossed the divine tribulation once, so it only took a moment for him to make it out as he was very familiar with it. He concluded that the other side of the portal contained a large amount of divine force. Seaway Monarch said, Your Majesty, someone once speculated that the portal doesn't actually link to a place in the immortal world, but rather some corner of the God realm. If we can enter the portal, we would be able to bypass the divine tribulation and enter the God realm as an immortal. Tang Xiu said, Let me have a try. Saying so, he gestured with his hands in succession and controlled the series of golden lines to induce a change in the loci they followed. In the next moment, a dreadful gravitational force emerged from the portal and pulled Tang Xiu's entire group inside almost instantaneously. Chapter 14-17, Divine Artifact, Star Disk. The spacious void teemed with a golden radiance, but it wasn't a blinding one. It was instead very soothing. As he had exceptional control over his body, Tang Xiu could sense that his eyes were getting strengthened at a rapid pace as if they had been cleansed by a miraculous medicinal concoction. Screech! A mysterious blackbird suddenly darted over from a distance and in the snap of a finger, it landed before Tang Xiu and the others. Its two eyes gazed at Tang Xiu fixedly as it asked in the human language, I can sense a divine aura inside your body. To think the immortal world actually still has a divine aura left, this is really too unbelievable. You probably have a divine artifact within your body, right? Tang Xiu nodded and said, indeed, I have a divine artifact inside my body. However, who are you? And where is this place? The mysterious black bird sneered at him. I can sense that your divine artifact has entered a dormant state. Unless some external force influences it, it will be pretty hard to awaken it or bring out all its strength. What a pity this is, indeed. It's such a waste in your hands even though it's a nice thing. Tang Xiu said faintly, I'm just an immortal right now, and even though I'm already a supreme, I'm still an immortal, not a god. However, I'm certain that I will be able to ascend to the god realm with ease when my strength surpasses my own from my previous incarnation, and then, I will be able to master it completely and bring out all its strength while battling. The mysterious blackbird rolled its eyes and revealed a look of contempt as it said the following words, forget it. I won't waste time saying needless words to you. The star disk inside is yours now. I have waited in this place for hundreds of thousands of years and have finally seen someone enter inside successfully, so I should have completed my mission now. Tang Xiu watched as the mysterious blackbird dissipated into thin air and thundered. You still haven't answered me. Just what are you and where is this place? Go take the star disk. The mysterious blackbird dissipated completely followed by a flash of light, leaving behind such final words. Tang Xiu took a deep breath and hurried over towards the distance along with the 10 Supremes accompanying him. Their speed was swift and in just half a burning incense stick worth of time, they had already appeared in another region. A cloud of golden light floated within the void here, and a golden star disk that emanated a tremendous pressure existed inside it. Even Tang Xiu, who had become a supreme once again, felt a bit stifled under its aura. Come. Tang Xiu pondered for a while and finally decided to take the star disk. However, he felt a stinging sensation in his palm when he touched the star disk and it disappeared following that. Sun and Moon star disk? Tang Xiu's eyes filled with disbelief. He had learned from an ancient book that the Sun and Moon star disk was the most valuable treasure of the god realm, and whoever possessed it would walk the furthest on the path of cultivation. Hence, Tang Xiu revealed an ecstatic expression after storing the Sun and Moon star disk inside his body. The Sun and Moon star disk had already split into 2 divine artifacts after it had appeared in the cosmos inside his dantian. A golden radiance showered the entire cosmos, and Tang Xiu could clearly see the 2 divine artifacts transform into 2 giant planets and then turn dark in the next instant. What's going on? This sudden occurrence had left Tang Xiu a bit perplexed. However, a short while later, a stream of ancient divine runes flooded his sea of knowledge, and even though he couldn't read them, he could understand their meaning. 2 treasures are vital for a god to establish a world in their dantian, namely the sun disk and the moon disk. If I hadn't come here, I would have simply failed to understand how beneficial the heavenly art of cosmic genesis has been to me. Gods can establish a world in their dantian, yet I've achieved this long ago. If I managed to ascend to the god realm, the world inside the dantian would manifest immediately. In other words, it's equivalent to having a world within my body, a world that's under my complete control. Tang Xiu suppressed the excitement in his heart a while later and said deeply, collect the divine rocks in this world. Since even the heavens wish for me to become a deity, I shall cross the divine tribulation on the day I become a late-stage supreme. Siwei monarch asked hastily, Your Majesty, have you seen the hope to attain godhood? Tang Xiu smiled faintly. The hope has always been inside my heart. There were a total of 108,000 divine rocks here, with each containing a huge amount of divine force. Tang Xiu speculated inwardly that he would be able to become a late-stage supreme if he were to absorb all the divine force contained in these 108,000 divine rocks, and that would be the moment he would cross the divine tribulation again. Let's return. Tang Xiu used his divine intent and left this space along with the 10 Supremes immediately. They then departed from the endless sea and sped over to the Great Tang Empire with their fastest speeds. Misty Spring Ocean, Imperial City. Tang Xiu went into seclusion immediately after his return to cultivate. 3,000 years flitted by just like that, and the first news Tang Xiu heard after coming out of seclusion was that although Gu Yan had helped him manage a few affairs of the Great Tang Empire, she had Prince Tang Song helping her with them all the while. Tang Song had already become a late-stage, perfected golden immortal by now and was just a step away from becoming a supreme. Tang Xiu learned from Tang Song that he actually had the confidence to become a supreme 1,000 years ago, but he wasn't in a rush and continued accumulating his strength. Hence, the immortal spiritual force he had accumulated until now had already reached a terrifying amount. Send down the decree. I shall pass the title of emperor to Prince Tang Song 3 days later. Tang Xiu immediately made his proclamation after he made a trip to the place where Han Qingwu resided. 3 days later. All powerhouses of the Great Tang Empire above the perfected golden immortal stage returned to the Imperial City, and the information about the Great Tang Heavenly Emperor's abdication and Prince Tang Song's succession of the throne spread across the entire immortal world like wildfire, and all the huge powers of the Demon Realm, Monster Realm, Spirit Realm, Ghost Realm, and Azura Realm, as well as the powerhouses, received this information one after the other. At the same time, 36 of the late-stage supreme powerhouses among the 185 supreme powerhouses of the Great Tang Empire all received an order from Tang Xiu, enter seclusion and cultivate. Time flitted by, and on the 300th year after Tang Xiu had passed the throne to Tang Song, another piece of information began spreading to all the realms. The first emperor of the Great Tang Empire, Tang Xiu, had decided to cross his divine tribulation within half a year, and 36 supreme powerhouses would cross it alongside him. This news gave rise to a great sensation. All powers of the immortal world and the powerhouses of all the realms directed their gazes towards the Great Tang Empire, one after the other. Inside Su Lingyun's residence. As Tang Xiu's mother, Su Lingyun worried that something might happen to her son when she learned about his plans to cross the divine tribulation. However, she was unwilling to stop him from doing so, as she knew that all immortals hope to become a deity one day. Xiu, have you really decided on it? Su Lingyun asked worriedly. Tang Xiu nodded and said, I have, indeed. However, we will have to leave the immortal world and continue cultivating in the God realm after reaching the deity stage. Even I'm unsure about how long it would take me to return, so the safest option would be for all my relatives to seize the moment and cultivate so we can meet again in the God realm. Xiu. Han Qingwu flew in from outside and, after bowing towards Su Lingyun, asked the following. Hundreds of peak-stage supreme powerhouses from the Demon Realm, Monster Realm, Ghost Realm, Spirit Realm, and the Azura Realm have sent a message that they wish to visit our Great Tang Empire to witness your ascension to the God Realm. Are you okay with it? Tang Xiu pondered for a moment and nodded. Why wouldn't I be okay with it? Tell them that the Great Tang Empire will await their arrival with open arms. Han Qingwu asked hesitantly, are you not afraid they would make trouble for you while you cross the tribulation? Tang Xiu smirked. Our Great Tang Empire currently has a total of 185 supreme powerhouses, so even me and 36 supremes are ascending to the God realm together. The Great Tang Empire would still have over 140 supreme powerhouses left. Hence, there's no need to worry about those who come to make trouble. Tang Xiu then added suddenly, since the powerhouses of the Demon Realm, Monster Realm, Ghost Realm, Spirit Realm, and Azura Realm wish to observe the ascension at the Great Tang Empire, we might as well send an invitation to all the supreme powerhouses of the immortal world and request their presence to observe our ascension to the God Realm half a year later too. Han Qingwu hesitated for a moment and forced a smile. Xiu, I know the dangers of crossing the divine tribulation. You will become especially weak after you have successfully crossed it and will only be safe after the light of divinity finishes molding your divine body completely. Inviting so many people makes me a bit worried. Tang Xiu said faintly, there's no need to worry. I'm confident in the strength of the Great Tang Empire. Moreover, the powerhouses of all the realms are well aware that if they cause trouble here, just a single one of us can kill all of them if we manage to cross the divine tribulation. Therefore, they probably won't act thoughtlessly. I'll listen to you, then. Han Qingwu nodded. Tang Xiu spent an idle life during the next half year and spent each day with his friends and family, enjoying the final warmth of the immortal world before he crossed the divine tribulation. Although he had a lot of worries and felt reluctant to leave, he still wished to cross the divine tribulation, become a deity, and pursue a higher strength. Furthermore, he had another purpose as well, which was to look for a method to resurrect Eagle and Old Sycamore in the God realm since it had many more treasures than the immortal world. In this short half-year, a large number of supreme powerhouses had rushed over to the Great Tang Empire, and no matter whether they were natives of the immortal world or powerhouses from the other realms, none of them caused trouble in the Great Tang Empire and laid in wait to witness the miraculous moment. Finally, the day everyone was waiting for had arrived. Chapter 14:18, Ascending to the God Realm, End of Main Storyline. Time flitted by, and in the blink of an eye, half a year had passed already. A large number of immortal arrays had been placed under the vast ocean of the Great Tang Empire's Misty Spring Ocean, as this was the location where Tang Xiu and the 36 late-stage Supremes were planning to cross the tribulation. The number of Supremes who had assembled in the Misty Spring Ocean on this day, including the peak stage Supremes from the other realms, had crossed over 500 altogether. Xiu. Are you really confident? Supreme Star Soul was also among the 36 members who were planning to cross the tribulation and ascend to the God realm. Although he wasn't worried because his son had planned things, they were, after all, going to cross the divine tribulation, so he felt a little nervous as the slightest miss on their end would cause them to perish eternally. Tang Xiu smiled faintly. Don't worry. I'm confident. Supreme Star Soul nodded silently and looked towards a faraway place from where his wife, Apotheon Carmen Mist, was gazing towards him with a teary face. After leaving this time, neither Tang Xiu nor the 36 Supremes knew when they would be able to see their friends and families left behind in the immortal world again. Activate the array. Tang Xiu commanded solemnly after he soared into the skies and gave a few glances to the 500 or so Supremes in the surroundings. In the next instant, a numinous transparent energy shield enveloped Tang Xiu and the 36 Supremes. All of them swallowed 2 drops of God blood after that and absorbed the energy contained in the divine rock within their hands steadily. The skies were overshadowed by a dense amount of dark clouds, and thunder rumbled within them along with flashes of lightning. The second emperor of the Great Tang Empire, Tang Song, appeared outside the grand array and gazed at his father's handsome face before yelling out loudly under the gazes of all the powerhouse, "Father, I've found my goal already. Wait for me. We'll definitely meet again in the God realm." Tang Xiu nodded satisfactorily and said, "Father is looking forward to meeting you in the God realm, Song." A dreadful aura descended from the heavens following that. The dreadful divine tribulation caused the 500 or so Supremes in the surroundings to fall back in succession. Although they had observed several tribulations, they had never seen 37 Supremes attempt to cross the tribulation simultaneously. The powerhouses of the various forces revealed tense expressions one after the other as they gazed at Tang Xiu in the sky. I believe it would be easy for the Great Tang Heavenly Emperor to cross the tribulation and become a deity if he wishes to do so. After all, he has undergone the onslaught of the divine tribulation and crossed it successfully once. I have the same opinion. The Great Tang Heavenly Emperor never does anything without the proper preparation. However, he has actually chosen to cross the tribulation alongside 36 Supremes. This is a huge mistake. Just look at the lightning clouds in the skies, they will be obviously facing a terrifyingly abnormal divine tribulation. The Great Tang Heavenly Emperor has always succeeded in accomplishing his resolutions, so I believe he will be able to cross it safely this time too. A lot of them speculated while the others prayed. Tang Xiu lifted his arm up and yelled loudly, "Prepare to greet the divine tribulation." Boom. A dreadful aura descended from the heavens and brought tremendous pressure on them. However, Tang Xiu and the 36 late-stage Supremes were still capable of maintaining their calm. 81 Divine Tribulation. It was one of the most terrifying heavenly tribulations in the immortal world and would only manifest when a Supreme attempted to become a deity. Cultivation was, after all, a battle against heaven and earth. A series of lightning bolts rained down along with flames that transformed into a blazing sea of fire. Tang Xiu strengthened his physique through the heavenly art of cosmic genesis that he cultivated, and took the lead to crush the attacks of the incoming divine tribulation. As the old adage went, the best defense is a good offense. Tang Xiu and the 36 Supremes gambled with the tribulation that had descended from the heavens a few times, and the strength they revealed shocked the numerous Supremes who had gathered to observe the tribulation. Even the perfected golden immortals also revealed similarly astounded expressions. After a whole 3 days, Tang Xiu and the 36 Supremes, all of them crossed the tribulation successfully. Congratulations, great Tang Heavenly Emperor. Congratulations, Supremes of the great Tang Empire. The Supremes who had come to observe soared up to the skies and cupped their fists towards Tang Xiu at the same time. Tang Xiu broke into loud laughter and said, "Thank you, everyone. I'm aware of a few things about the God realm. No matter if you are from the immortal world, demon realm, monster realm, spirit realm, or the Azura realm, we will all belong to the same side once you become a deity. I shall wait for you all in the God realm." Xiu. Su Lingyun rushed over from a distant place and arrived before Tang Xiu, who was a bit pale right now after undergoing the tribulation. Tang Xiu kowtowed towards Su Lingyun a few times in the void and muttered, "Mom, forgive me for being unfilial as I cannot accompany you at your side for the time being. I have left something for you in advance, you must protect it well. Besides, it may not that take long for me to find a way to descend down from the God realm if I can progress quickly over there." Su Lingyun nodded and said, "Xiu. If there's no danger in descending from the God realm, you have to return and visit us, but if it's dangerous, you better forget about doing it. Although I cultivated pretty late and have an average aptitude, I will strive hard to cultivate so that I can see you in the God realm again in the future." "That's right. We will come to see you." Apotheon Carmen Mist suddenly appeared before them with a sentimental expression on her face. Tang Xiu kowtowed towards Apotheon Carmen Mist, then turned around and said, "Believe in me. We will definitely meet again soon." Saying so, he arrived before his women and wiped the tears off their faces gently before placating all of them. "Be safe, husband." When Tang Xiu arrived before Mu Weining, she began sobbing with a face that was already marred with tears. Tang Xiu hugged her tightly and said, "Don't worry. I'll make sure I'm safe and work hard to cultivate and become stronger. When I can break the spatial barrier between the immortal world and the God realm with a single punch, I promise I'll find any viable method to bring you all to the God realm." Mu Weining nodded and hugged Tang Xiu's arms with a bit too much strength. "I'll wait for you," Kang Xia said quietly as she hugged Tang Xiu. Tang Xiu revealed a smile and said, "Believe in me. I have never disappointed you." Finally, Tang Xiu arrived before Han Qinggu, and after noticing her reluctance to part with him, he hugged her and said, "Qinggu, I'll have to trouble you to take care of the empire's matters. You're Tang Song's mother and he's now the current emperor of the Great Tang Empire. I hope the Great Tang Empire will become even stronger under his guidance and your assistance. Also, tell Xiao Xue that I have left a lot of things behind for her that will be beneficial for the Great Tang Empire in the future. Leave it to me." Han Qinggu nodded silently and gave Tang Xiu a deep, hot kiss. People always felt down when they parted with each other. Tang Xiu didn't like this feeling and neither did his father, Tang Yunda. After the father and son gazed at each other from a distance, Tang Shou kowtowed towards Tang Yunda and then directed his gaze towards the 36 powerhouses and thundered. It's almost time. Let's leave now. Wait a moment. A figure zipped across the skies from the distance and arrived before Tang Shou in a few short breaths. Tang Shou felt some reluctance to leave after seeing her. Guyin had already grown up to become an outstanding beauty by now and was akin to a daughter in Tang Shou's eyes. Tang Shou pulled her into his embrace gently when he saw her tear-filled gaze and whispered, "Yinin, dear, Master is leaving for the God Realm to establish himself there and become stronger, so I'll leave our home in your hands. I hope you will be able to help me take care of the great Tang Empire like Yen. And look after our family." Guyin lifted her arm and wiped the tears off her face, and even though she still sobbed, she replied in a firm tone, "Master, Yinin won't fail you." Tang Shou patted her shoulder and said in a clear voice, "Everyone, I hope you all can ascend to the God Realm soon. I shall work hard there first and await your arrival. At that time, I shall prepare good wine and wait to have a drink together with all of you." A few moments later, a cylindrical beam of golden light that spanned several thousands of meters flashed down from the heavens and encircled Tang Shou and the 36 powerhouses who had crossed the tribulation with him successfully. "Please take good care of yourself." Countless words of parting converged to become a powerful wave. Countless pairs of eyes watched along as the golden beam of light slowly rose up and finally disappeared into the heavens together with Tang Shou and the 36 powerhouses. Chapter 14:19, God Realm, One Trouble at the Immortal Exuviate Pond. Tang Shou discovered himself within a pond the next time he opened his eyes. After making sure all 36 people who ascended with him were present around him, he sighed in relief subconsciously. However, Tang Shou's expression turned unsightly in the next moment as an unprecedented feeling of danger engulfed his entire heart, when he realized that he seemed to have become similar to a mortal. Apart from physical strength, his entire body was bereft of any immortal spiritual force, which meant that the only outcome left for them was death if they were to encounter any danger within the pond. "Husband, what's up with the water in this pond? It's like a swamp, and even moving my feet feels difficult to achieve." Apotheon Bella was the second one to open her eyes and asked with shock written all over her face when she saw Tang Shou. From what was recorded in the memory fragment left behind in Supreme Drunken Immortal's inheritance, this place should be the Immortal Exuviate Pond. After immortals ascend to the God Realm, they have to undergo the refinement of their immortal body to a divine body through the water present in the Immortal Exuviate Pond. Only then would they be considered a genuine deity, Supreme Star Tears said deeply. However, although the Immortal Exuviate Pond is an opportunity for us, it's equally dangerous because the Supreme Immortals of all galaxies arrive in the same Immortal Exuviate Pond. As such, the deities of the galaxies attempt to kill the Supreme Immortals of other galaxies so that their own Supreme Immortals can become deities faster and also strive to obtain more cultivation resources for them. At the instant Star Tears finished speaking, Tang Shou and Bella both heard two screams reach their ears. They followed the voices and discovered a giant donned in full-body golden armor in the midst of killing a Supreme Immortal, with a sadistic grin on its face. This Supreme Immortal had really ugly looks and looked the same as the human form of a lizard spirit monster. Tang Shou and the others felt a bit better when they realized it clearly hadn't ascended from the Milky Way galaxy. "Don't say anything and hide your heads within the water as much as possible. As we've run into a crisis, let's wait for our bodies to finish molding patiently and wait for an opportunity to move," Tang Shou whispered when he noticed everyone had woken up and looked towards the direction of the screams with a worried face. Tang Shou's calm voice made everyone find their support and suppressed the anxiety in the hearts of the 36 Supremes, including Supreme Star Soul in it. They showed no hesitation at all and bent their legs to submerge their entire bodies inside the pond water. Tang Shou sighed in relief when he saw that the golden-armored giant was relishing in the feeling of killing the newly ascended creatures, and hadn't noticed the movements on their side. He also submerged his body inside the water silently. Huh? How come the heavenly path of cosmic genesis is progressing suddenly? The space inside my dantian has actually expanded by thousands of square kilometers and is also brimming with life force? Tang Xiu was left stunned when he sunk his consciousness into his body. The 12 zodiac jade carvings actually had such a miraculous effect. I really hit the jackpot when I collected them unintentionally back when I was on Earth. It didn't take long for Tang Xiu to figure out what had caused the change in the world inside his dantian. Back when Tang Xiu was on Earth, Miao Wentong had given him 2 zodiac jade carvings that were family heirlooms. Tang Xiu could only make out that these jade carvings contained dreadful energy as well as traces of the heavenly laws inside it, and the sole reason he had collected all 12 of them was to increase his chances of ascending to the God realm. Tang Xiu never expected that these 12 zodiac jade carvings that hadn't shown any exceptional reaction in the immortal world would actually undergo such a huge change after arriving in the God realm. They were releasing the tremendous energy contained within them alongside the traces of the heavenly laws. Only the heavenly path universe tree thrived inside the world in his dantian before, but it thrived with vitality and was as vibrant as the real world now. Tang Xiu was left utterly shocked by this development. So, the water of the immortal exuviate pond can actually activate the real function of the 12 zodiac jade carvings? Tang Xiu's eyes glimmered with radiant light as he observed the world within his dantian absorb the water within the pond, similar to a crunching galaxy. Moreover, the 12 zodiac jade carvings also fused together with the world inside his dantian gradually. Tang Xiu could clearly sense that although the immortal spiritual force inside his body had already disappeared, a new divine force was being produced inside his body at an extremely ridiculous speed. Tang Xiu's cultivation stage also progressed incrementally along with the increase in divine force. Deity, true God, great God, heavenly God, profound God, ancient God. Early stage ancient God, middle stage ancient God, late stage ancient God, peak stage ancient God. When Tang Xiu was about to cross the bottleneck of the ancient God stage and become a God King, the sun and moon star disk shone with a resplendent glow suddenly, following which the 12 zodiac jade carvings that were mere carvings transformed into 12 animals under the illumination of the sun and moon divine radiance, and began to wander across the world in his dantian. The rise of divine force within Tang Xiu's body also slowed down eventually before coming to a stop. My cultivation actually broke through so many stages at once. Isn't this a bit too excessive? Tang Xiu muttered in a daze after a long time. According to what Tang Xiu knew, cultivation in the God realm was divided into 12 stages, namely the deity, true God, great God, heavenly God, golden God, profound God, ancient God, God King, God Monarch, God Emperor, God Sovereign, and Supreme God stage. Among these, the deities, true gods, and great gods belonged to the bottom rung of the God realm and were tasked with guarding the immortal exuviate pond for 100,000 years and could die at any time because of all the dangers they might encounter. They were only qualified to leave the immortal exuviate pond and establish themselves in the divine domains after becoming a heavenly god. However, as the place with the weakest divine force within all the divine domains, the immortal exuviate pond didn't have any other cultivation resources except for the pond water, which had the effect of refining the body, so it was extremely difficult to become a heavenly god. As such, a lot of supreme immortals were only able to spend their lives in the divine domains adjacent to the immortal exuviate pond, after ascending to the God realm and finally embraced their natural death within the pond. I thought I would have to wait for 100,000 years in the immortal exuviate pond just like Supreme Drunken Immortal, before leaving and then resurrect Old Sycamore and Eagle after a really long time. However, since my cultivation has rocketed to the summit of the ancient god stage, I should be able to leave the immortal exuviate pond quickly and resurrect them soon. When he recalled how Old Sycamore and Eagle had advanced bravely during his battle with Shade Demon Zhu Wushou and detonated their immortal souls to fight for an opportunity for him to live, Tang Xiu's eyes teared up slightly and he felt a warm feeling well up in his heart. Tang Xiu used his divine sense to scan the surroundings and discovered that the 36 Supremes who had ascended along with him had already finished refining their bodies and were waiting to leave the immortal exuviate pond eagerly, However, since they hadn't received an order from him, they refrained from acting rashly. Among the 36 Supremes, other than Supreme Star Radiance and Supreme Bella who had deep foundations and had become middle-stage deities, the rest were all still early-stage deities. Old geezer drunken immortal, I finally understand why you arranged for so many deities of the Milky Way galaxy to enter Immortal Exuviate Pond recently. So, 37 people have actually ascended from your Milky Way galaxy this time. But do you believe the deities you arranged would be able to protect all 37 of them? Old geezer drunken immortal, you have waited for nearly 100,000 years and over 30 people have finally ascended from the Milky Way galaxy. These fresh blood from the Milky Way galaxy are your hope, so would you be willing to let them die in the Immortal Exuviate Pond? How about this? 10,000 divine rocks for one of them. As long as you prepare 370,000 divine rocks, we'll let these newcomers from the Milky Way galaxy reach the shore successfully. What do you say? Just when Tang Xiu was planning to tell Supreme Star Radiance and the others to go ashore, a series of rambunctious voices resounded within everyone's ears. At the same time, a dozen or so silhouettes appeared above them, each looking at Tang Xiu and the others playfully. Chapter 1420, God Realm, to a Show of Divine Might. In the God Realm, divine stones were the most foundational cultivation resources used by everyone because of their ubiquitous and distributive nature, and they were also the most widespread currency in the God Realm. A high-grade divine stone was equivalent to 100 middle-grade divine stones, and a middle-grade divine stone was equivalent to 100 low-grade divine stones. The deities in the bottom rung of the God Realm could only amass 300 divine stones each month even if they worked really hard, and this amount barely satisfied their cultivation needs, so it was impossible to have any surplus amount of divine stones left. The deity from Marionette Galaxy was obviously asking for a sky-high price, when he quoted 10,000 high-grade divine stones for a person each and wasn't actually planning to let anyone from Tang Xiu's group leave alive. Although the deities of the Milky Way galaxy knew that this deity of the Marionette Galaxy was playing around with them, and trembled in fury because of it, they were helpless about the situation too. It was because the Marionette Galaxy was a powerful force in the God Realm that had control over most of the Jade Pool Divine Domain, where the Immortal Exuviate Pond was located. As such, the deities of the Marionette Galaxy deprived the deities of the other galaxies often, and this caused their strength to soar higher while the strength of the other galaxies tanked lower. Great God Eternum, we, the deities of the Milky Way galaxy, have always labored at the bottom rung and have no other means of income, so we can't gather so many divine stones. We're willing to give up all our savings, so please show some leniency and spare them. When Tang Xiu and the others thought the deities of the Milky Way galaxy would protest, an obsequious voice reached everyone's ears. These words were spoken by a hunchbacked gray-haired old man who carried a golden gourd at his waist. Scram to the side if you aren't willing to pay up. I believe I would be able to sell these wretches for at least a few 10,000 divine stones if I took them to the slave market. Eternum kicked the old man to the side after hearing his words and then checked out Tang Xiu's group closely. Huh. The quality of these newcomers from the Milky Way galaxy is pretty good. They actually have a lot of beauties, so it seems like we'll make a killing this time. Eternum's eyes lit up when his gaze scanned across Bella, Gu Yan, and the others inadvertently, and he turned spirited immediately. Congratulations, Elder Eternum. You have gained yet another few bed warmers. Elder Eternum, could you send them to us for a while once you are tired of them before selling them to the slave market? It's not just the women who are pretty among the newcomers from the Milky Way galaxy, the men look quite handsome too. I just recalled that Lord Pearwood hasn't found a suitable boy toy recently, so he will definitely reward us generously if we send these gigolos to him. The deities of the Marionette Galaxy scanned Tang Xiu and the others with their unbridled gazes and passed comments while laughing heartily. The deities of the Milky Way Galaxy showed furious and sorrowful expressions, and even Bella and the others standing behind Tang Xiu felt despair and helplessness. You must be Senior Drunken Immortal, right? I'm the Star Cultivation Great Emperor as well as the Great Tang Heavenly Emperor. I would like to know what's the highest cultivation of the deities among the protectors of the Immortal Exuviate Pond, and the Jade Pool Divine Domain. Tang Shou patted Bella's shoulder and pacified the others behind him with his gaze, before he walked in front of the deities of the Milky Way galaxy and inquired the old man with the golden gourd. Tang Shou had once seen the projection of Supreme Drunken Immortal in the secret palace, so he had recognized the old man with the golden gourd at his waist to be him at a single glance and also made out his cultivation, as well. He was a middle-stage true god and also the deity with the highest cultivation among the deities from the Milky Way galaxy. As the protector of the Immortal Exuviate Pond, Lord Pearwood possesses the highest cultivation over here and is a middle-stage heavenly god. As for the deity with the highest cultivation in the Jade Pool, it should be a peak-stage heavenly god. Although Drunken Immortal didn't know why Tang Shou asked this, he nodded towards him kindly and answered it immediately. Senior Drunken Immortal. Tang Shou sighed in relief after hearing that the deity with the highest cultivation within the Jade Pool Divine Domain was a peak-stage heavenly god, and a crazy thought manifested within his mind simultaneously. How dare you speak, Gigolo? Scram to the side now. While Tang Shou intended to inquire more information about the god realm to make the best choice, he heard a sharp voice echo at his ears suddenly and felt a gust of wind hit him at the crown of his head. A deity from the Marionette Galaxy became infuriated when he saw Tang Shou ignore everyone and chat with Drunken Immortal, and thus struck his palm towards him. Dear, watch out. Master, watch out. Shou, watch out. The members of the Great Tang Empire almost had a stroke and called out to him in alarm subconsciously when they sensed the fearsome strength within the palm of the malevolent-faced deity from the Marionette Galaxy. The deities of the Milky Way galaxy led by Drunken Immortal closed their eyes in dread as they didn't wish to see the scene of Tang Shou getting swatted into grounded meat. Conversely, all the deities of the Marionette Galaxy revealed malicious smiles on their faces. Everyone thought it would be difficult for Tang Shou to escape this calamity, but Tang Shou grunted coldly and reached out to grab that deity's palm with his left hand in the next moment. Tang Shou grabbed the opponent's palm with ease under the stunned gazes of the deities from the Marionette Galaxy and punched towards his opponent's face with his right fist. Followed by a bang, the deity's head then vanished before he could even realize what was going on. Tang Shou looked at the headless body within his hands before he observed his fist and then tried to comprehend the sudden strength he had gained. This guy wasn't on guard just now, so it's difficult to judge my real strength from this exchange, Tang Shou muttered and then laid his gaze upon the dumbfounded deities from the Marionette Galaxy. How dare you murder a deity of our Marionette Galaxy? Do you wish to die? You've dug your own grave now. Your actions harm not just yourself, but will also lead to the extermination of all the Milky Way Galaxy's deities in the Jade Pool Divine Domain. The deities of the Marionette Galaxy finally reacted after a long time and berated Tang Shou one after the other. The faces of the deities of the Milky Way Galaxy turned ashen with angst as they knew Tang Shou had indeed provoked a huge disaster. The deities of the Milky Way Galaxy had been somehow eking out a living in this corner of the god realm for the past tens of thousands of years, and Tang Shou's actions had undeniably given the deities of the Marionette Galaxy the perfect excuse to eliminate them. However, Drunken Immortal recalled the two questions Tang Shou had asked him after seeing the calm expression on his face, and his eyes glimmered with hope. I'll kill wretches like you if I want to, it's nothing to fuss up about at all. Tang Shou grunted coldly when faced with the curses of the Marionette Galaxy's deities and leaped out of the Immortal Exuviate Pond. After that, he punched towards the deity who had scolded the most viciously among the Marionette Galaxy's deities. This deity felt infuriated when he saw that Tang Shou actually dared to attack him, so he welcomed Tang Shou's fist with his own while wearing a malicious smile on his face. However, his smile froze in the next instant. Followed by a crunching sound, this deity's fist was crushed from his palm to the arm, bone, and all. If you all have only this much strength, you'll find it very difficult to leave the Immortal Exuviate Pond alive. After saying this, Tang Xiu grabbed the head of the deity before him. The pitiful deity couldn't accept the fact that Tang Xiu had defeated him and followed his companion's footsteps in the next moment. Stop making a fuss now and bring out your entire strength. I don't like a rowdy scene. Tang Xiu took a stance with his hands after dealing with yet another deity from the Marionette Galaxy, following which, another two deities that had berated Tang Xiu darted towards him immediately. Tang Xiu showed no hesitation as he sliced off their necks momentarily. The deities of the Marionette Galaxy finally quietened down after the death of four of their own and sized up Tang Xiu in a panic, trying to figure out what was so exceptional about him. Unfortunately, Tang Xiu hated the way they blabbed and threatened a few moments ago, so he didn't give them any time to react. Tang Xiu seized the opportunity while the Marionette Galaxy's deities were dazed and killed yet another dozen or so of them instantly. The Immortal Exuviate Pond sunk into a strange silence momentarily, and Tang Xiu seemed to act out a feast of killing for the observers. They seemed to have lost their sense of hearing as they couldn't hear any voices, and could only observe the scene of Tang Xiu taking down the deities of the Marionette Galaxy with his punches. The showy and bossy deities of the Immortal Exuviate Pond seemed just like powerless kids before Tang Xiu and were wiped out clean by him easily. Soon after, Eternum was the only one left alive from the Marionette Galaxy's deities in the Immortal Exuviate Pond. However, Tang Xiu had grabbed even him by the neck as if he was a little chick. Will you choose to redeem your life with 1,000,000 high-grade divine stones or choose death? Tang Xiu asked while observing Eternum, who was frightened out of his wits right now. I don't have 1,000,000 high-grade divine stones. Only Lord Pearwood could have so many divine stones in the entire Immortal Exuviate Pond. Lord, please spare my life. I'm willing to serve you with my all. Eternum abandoned his former superior attitude and chose to surrender without the slightest hesitation. Lord, as long as you spare my life, I can help you take control of the Immortal Exuviate Pond and even help you take over the entire Jade Pool Divine Domain. The deities of the Milky Way Galaxy will be able to live in peace as long as you take over the Jade Pool Divine Domain. With enough time, you'll certainly be able to conquer the 3 divine domains adjacent to us with your cultivation. Eternum explained his worth in haste when he sensed the dense killing intent on Tang Xiu's body. You can sense my cultivation? Tang Xiu was planning to get rid of Eternum, but he frowned when he heard Eternum's final sentence. Lord, I awakened a perceptual innate ability when I became a great god that allows me to sense the cultivation of any deity. If I'm not mistaken, you're a peak stage ancient god right now and are just a step away from becoming a god king. Eternum's heart filled with bitterness as he said these words. Eternum's perceptual innate ability had brought him countless advantages during battles and allowed him to avoid a lot of calamities. But he never imagined that his arrogance and carelessness of not activating the perceptual ability would lead to such a disaster. Eternum's words spread across the entire Immortal Exuviate Pond like wildfire and caused all the deities to look at him with shock and reverence.